Okay, hi everybody. This is the mini training on how to get over business disappointments. Okay, so the first thing to do is to acknowledge when you have a disappointment, like in your life. So what I do is I make it not personal. I say something like, this hurts, not I'm hurt. This hurts, and this is disappointing, but I am okay. Okay, so now you could tap. I do EFT, you could tap. This, okay, so this hurts that I lost that client, or this hurts that I had that misunderstanding with that service provider, or whatever it is. This hurts, it's disappointing, but I'm okay. I'm going to be okay, I'm okay. Now you can do tapping. You know, there's some tapping training program. You can do that. That helps a lot if you learn how to do tapping. And I just do very quick tapping sometimes. So acknowledge, you always acknowledge, because it's important to acknowledge to move on, like in anything. Okay, but then from there, do not wallow. Do not wallow. Wallowing takes time. And again, wallowing takes time, where you could say, you know what if I didn't wallow? What if I acknowledge it? Do some EFT or whatever, acknowledge it, move on, take a walk, get a coffee, take a little beat, we say in acting, but don't say, oh, that was so disappointing. I got an SS and I didn't get the clients. I'm going to sit around here moping. No, bulletproof mindset, acknowledge and move on. Okay, how do we move on? We front load. We say, you know what? If I had 2 strategy sessions and I didn't get the client, well, maybe I should front load and say, I might have another disappointment. Chances are you're going to have another disappointment in your life or your business. It will happen. So why don't I front load? Why don't I say something like, hey, I'm going to get so many strategy sessions that it won't matter. That if I lose one or I don't get the client, it really won't matter that much. Okay? So you're front loading expectations, I call it, because let's face it, we all know in life and in business, there is always going to be another disappointment, because that's just life. And even when things are going really well, I'm very aware when things are going really well. That's why they say ride the wave. You say ride the wave because we know that life is ever changing. So you can't say, oh, I'm doing really well in my business now. You're like, it's going well, ride the wave. And that you ride the wave to make sure you get the most out of the good periods. It's like with marriages. I mean, there's good and there's bad. With any relationship, there's good and there's bad. Things happen. Okay, so you acknowledge, maybe do some EFT, take a beat. Do what you need to do to take a beat, you stretch, go for a walk or whatever, but don't spend 4 days getting over that disappointment. Then you front load, you say, look, this is probably going to happen again because it's life, and I'm probably going to lose clients, and I'm probably not going to get a client, or I'm probably going to have a bad experience with a client even. That's okay. It's okay. I'm okay. It is disappointing. It does hurt, but I am okay. Okay? Acknowledge and move on and depersonalize it. It's not, I'm not hurt. I'm not disappointed, because that you're taking that as your personality. It's an I'm, it's outside of you. A situation is disappointing. It hurts. Okay? Now that's a good technique for everything, actually. All right, then you front load. So how do you do this? You say to yourself, this could happen again. What do I need to do to get myself in a position that if another disappointment happens, it's not going to deflate me completely? Okay, so you're looking ahead again. Okay, so you're not going to watch the pot boil. You're not going to say, well, I have one strategy session. Oh, please, please, please close this client. Because when you have that kind of a desperation, the person you're speaking to feels it. Now, I know sometimes you might only have one prospect. So you got to do all sorts of detaching kind of exercises that, you could also tap. Even though I'm feeling a little bit desperate about this client, whether I get the client or not, I'm still okay. So you're here, so you're detaching from the results. You're fighting for the client, and it's this dance you have to do of being attached to wanting to help, but not attached to outcome for you. Now that is where the danger comes in, is attachment to outcome. People feel that. So it's a very interesting blend you have to figure out, where you're not giving up on the call. Like, oh, if you work with me or not, I don't care. I don't mean that. I mean, you're going to fight for them, but it's this sort of, it's not black and white. It's the in-between. It's the gray. Like, you want the client, obviously you just want to help them, but you're not desperate. And if you didn't get the client, you're not going to, go jump off a bridge. So you acknowledge and you move on, and then you plan. You say, great, you know, I'm not going to wallow. I'm not going to waste time because I will get over this. So then I would have wasted a day. Why don't I just say, instead of being demoralized for a day, why don't I process it quicker? So it's about processing it quicker. To process it though, but quicker, and move on, and then plot and say, well, you know what? So the next time that happens, I don't feel this way. I'm just going to make sure I have enough in the, you know, arrows in the air, we say. Okay, so does anybody have any questions about this? On this particular thing? If you do, just unmute yourself and I'll answer it for this little mini training. Anybody have any disappointments they need help getting over? Can you all hear me? Because Mary Beth, something wrong with the sound. Okay, can everybody hear me? I hope so. Please put yes, we can hear you. Good, okay, that's good. All right, so does anybody have a question about what I just said? Because I went through that quickly because it is a mini training. Does anybody have any questions? Was that helpful at all? It wasn't helpful at all to anybody. Okay. Was that, no? Okay, so it was. Helga says yes, it was. Does anybody need any help with a disappointment they're going through right now? It's helpful. Yes. Okay, good. Okay, so that's the mini training. I'm going to stop that recording. Okay.